This is Flavorphiles. I'm Jerry Agar. He's Tanner Agar. This is our St. Patrick's Day edition as we talk food and drink and culture. And a big thing for Ireland, Tanner, is the potato. But it's not from Ireland. How did that happen?
That's true. It's from the Americas. It's funny how something that we so associate with Ireland actually came from the Americas post-Columbian. So it's like late 1500s, really, when that stuff starts to come over there.
Are they really from North America at all, or is it a South American thing?
I think they sort of started like the Andes Mountains is really like the center of the potato. That's where a lot of these different varieties come. They're very Peruvian. And then my guess is they sort of worked their way up north. I'm not exactly sure, but one of the things that's really important about the potato is it can grow in sort of subprime conditions and it can grow really plentifully in a really small amount of space. This is how it gets popular in Ireland. Because in Ireland, especially at the time, basically British landholders owned all of the land. They would force the people of Ireland to farm largely grains and then ship that stuff over to England. So these people were having a lot of problems having their own food source, and any land that was not going to be able to grow grains, they were allowed to grow whatever measly meals they could put together to try to keep themselves alive. So that kind of made the potato the absolutely perfect food for them because it grows in the terrible condition where you can't grow the landholder crops. It grows plentifully in a tiny amount of space with not very much work. However, it's also one of the things that set up the Great Potato Famine because you have all of these people depending so heavily on this one. They didn't even have different types of potatoes. Mostly they just had this one type of potato. And as soon as blight got into the potato stock and just ran rampant across Ireland, just crushing that crop.
Well, the other thing with potatoes, I think, is unless you have a blight or something like that, they store well.
They store pretty well. And, you'll see stuff online that says you can live off of just potatoes and butter. It's obviously ideal to have something else, but potatoes and butter can keep you alive. Maybe it's not
Okay.
a great life, but you're also, an Irish peasant in the 1850s. And this is an interesting fact I learned while looking this up. The potato famine wasn't just Ireland, by the way. We think of it as Ireland because Ireland didn't have substitute things, but the potato blight actually extended into different parts, like even going down into like France, Spain, had some potato issues. And that's one of the contributing factors to the wave of revolutions that happened across Europe was the blight made people hungry enough to say, we're not doing this anymore. And it was one of the contributing factors to all of those revolutions that happened in like the mid 1800s.